The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development, with a magazine and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co. Hey, welcome back. And here we are. We've got a panel. We've got a panel of ladies that are going to be joining me in a minute. And the panel is called Love Without Limits. Questions around love. And all the ladies that I've invited are people that have been involved in the Best You Expo, supported us. They're obviously fans and also kind of, people that I provide me inspiration. And also, I know are leaders in the industry when it comes down to love in many different aspects. So I'm very excited to have this conversation because I'm actually working on a book this year, which is around the subject of love. And so these are questions that will help me come up with the material. So I'm being selfish. Anyway, let's invite them all in and I'll start doing the introductions one by one. Michelle, hey.
Hey, how are you?
Renee.
Hi.
Mabel, hey, how are you all? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let me introduce one at a time, and then I will then slowly start jumping in the order of how I got you on the camera. I've got Michelle Jewsbury there, who's international philanthropic author and speaker that has traveled the world as an advocate for the less fortunate. She has completed her memoir with the same title as her play, But I Love Him. It's a painful yet inspirational true story of a strong, independent woman caught in the horrifying cycle of domestic violence and how she got out. I've also have Sara Davison. Sara Davison is best known as the divorce coach, and she's created a revolutionary new ways to cope with breakups and divorce. She's combined her coaching skills with her own personal divorce experience to create a unique program to help anyone battling breakup. I also have Renee Piane, voted top international dating coach, author of the Get Real About Love and Love Mechanics, TV and radio host, and obviously very Italian, known as the Love Designer as well, because she helps people just like you to draft an action plan to redesign their life to become the type of partner that will attract their true match. And I have Mabel because this is the Best You Expo Miami, and obviously we've got half Latinos and half English, so I had to bring a Latino in. And Mabel, she's originally from Argentina. She's been lovely. She's been supportive very much of bringing us a great people to the expo. I actually was joining her on a panel yesterday to talk about women in 2021. Mabel is an author of international award-winning self-help bestsellers on love, sex, psychology, angels, and astrology. A psychotherapist, a romance therapist, advisor, and expert in relationships, as well as a 4-time winning Latin Literary Award and social media marketing strategy expert. Ladies, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Bernardo. We're very, very excited.
I'm very, very excited that you're here. So look, I came up with this idea of having a panel to discuss love. So with my experience in having run all these events over the years, and we've had all sorts of experts. We have had love coaches, divorce coaches, Renee speaking, how to find love. And obviously we've discussed love. But I thought, you know what? Ultimately, having seen so many people that are out there, sorry, can we just mute whoever's not actually just at the moment? There's just a little bit of an echo there. So what I found is that there's a lot of people that basically don't really realize that although we're really looking to find ways, to become wealthier. We're looking for ways to become more confident. We're looking for ways to become better at social media. Ultimately, the most important thing and what everyone needs is love. We all want to be loved. We all need to be loved. So I've got a number of questions that I wanted to ask you. And obviously what I wanted to do, was I've got at least 4 or 5 questions. So I wanted, if we can, okay, I know you ladies don't like talking a lot, but if for whatever reason you feel that you need to extend a little bit, let's try and keep it as concise as we can. But then at the end, we can maybe throw a little bit. So let me start with you, Michelle. What is love? What does love mean to you?
Well, love is a very important thing for every human being to have on this planet. And love is the one thing that we all want, just like you were saying. And to be loved and to love is the giving of yourself completely, and of another person giving completely of themselves to you. And it's very hard to find somebody who is willing to let go of all of their past, all of their trauma, all of their obstacles, everything that's in their mind and what they're thinking about, in order to allow love to come into their lives. But it's so incredibly important. And love means happiness and joy and that breath of fresh air, and being able to care for one another. And it's just so important.
Thank you. And what I was going to say is Sarah, can I ask you the same question?
Yeah, I mean, love is awesome, right? We all want it, yet we're not trained, like you said. Exactly, Bernardo, 100% agree. They should have lessons on this at school. I mean, forget algebra. I've never used that, and some people do, but I certainly haven't. But I would have benefited from learning how to love, whether that's friends, whether that's being a good daughter or mom, or but also finding that true love. And I think you're right. It's different for everyone. For me, it's definitely, I think as we get older, especially, we learn from our last relationship, right? So for me, it's definitely next time around someone who's got my back, and it's someone who's really passionate about life and is very loving and giving. But it's different for everyone.
It absolutely is different for everyone. And you know, and also, you know, some people might be seeking a different type of love. I was sharing that. And I think, you know, relationships, which obviously I know, you know, Michelle, well, all of you are experts in relationships. I think ultimately I was saying that I believe, and although I know, you know, some relationships don't end well, I do believe that love ultimately and normally transforms. You know, it never dies. It transforms into something different. I mean, I had someone writing an article which was talking about the very thin line between love and hatred, you know, and what happens, you know. But I suppose it's a different type of love. But I wanted to, first of all, I wanted to ask you, each of you, what you thought love is. So, Mabel.
For me, love is not a feeling. Love is energy. It's the energy that creates everything in this world, in this universe. We are love. I am love. You are love. Love is the only thing that can transform, like as you said, everything in this world. Love is, for me, the energy, the life itself.
Well, that's a great answer.
A relationship is everything, love, for me.
Todo es amor. Todo es amor.
Todo es amor.
Todo es amor. Renee, lovely to see you.
I'm so honored to be here, and I think that for me, love is sacred. I want, in my work, I teach people that love doesn't have to be a partner. It's just, it comes from within you first, right? So as the way that you love yourself is the way that you're going to receive love. So after teaching for 30 years, the ladies out there, we've been romanticized by love from media, right? And really what it is two lives, or, you know, whether it's a friendship, a mother and daughter, everywhere I go, I'm so like in tune with love, that when I see love, I walk up to people and I say, I see your love. Like I can see the energy, like Mabel was speaking of. So it's a frequency, but to me, it's one of the most sacred choices that you make in your life, the people that you love. So I believe that during this time, Bernardo, I'm so glad that all of us are waking up to the fact that most of us have been in a pace of life that actually did not give us the opportunity to love as deep as we are now in the world. And I think people are uniting to see that love is the answer to healing all of us, you know. But it's deep work, and everybody has damage to their hearts. And like all of us, we're here to open the hearts to have deeper love.
Well, that's a great valid point, Renee, and I think one of the things that I want to create. So I'll announce it now. There's no need to hide it anymore. I said it prior to this. I'm actually looking at running an expo around the subject of love. So it's love, but it's love in every format. Because love is being kind, love is helping others, love is educating. Love is making a difference. Love is counting on this planet, is leaving something behind. There's so many ways to show love. And I think, when hatred or racism and, a lot of these things are very heavy, they're very heavy in your soul. They kill you in the inside because, it's like people that aren't able to forgive. If you're not able to forgive, it just weighs you down. And the moment you release it, and you're prepared to say, I forgive you, I move on, then, that comes off. So I think, if we can really teach people around the world, the importance of love and really create a love revolution, that's kind of where I want to go with this in 2021.
I've known it for 30 years. It's hard. People think it's crazy, but who started it was Leo Buscaglia.
Yeah.
He was the first teacher of love at UCLA, and I met him right before he died. And he said, I know about you, because love is, my father was he had Love Works feeding the homeless. So I grew up with a family that gave love, but then I came to spread love in Los Angeles. It's lonely around the world. People need people like us to bring them together with that wake-up call. And
to know that people care. But anyway, you pointed out there, and I want to continue with that. So, for example, Michelle, Renee brought the subject up of self-love. I think a lot of the times, in my modest opinion as a man, I really see that a lot of women undervalue themselves in the fact that I see the beauty within them, and it isn't necessarily physical. It's the beauty that they have as a human being, as their love for their kids and and what they've gone through, and I think it does start with self-love, doesn't it? Doesn't it start with appreciating and understanding how important it is to love us and appreciate, whatever it is that we are, and move on. What do you think?
Well, it does start with self-love, yes. But unfortunately, love can get skewed, and people can get into abusive relationships. People can become love addicts, sex addicts. People can try to get love by doing external things, by hurting themselves, by devaluing ourselves in order for us to achieve even a minute part of love. And it does matter how we treat ourselves, how we view ourselves. We need to put in positive material, whether it's reading books, being on great seminars and podcasts like this, Bernardo, surrounding yourself with amazing people who are going to uplift you and not tear you down. Because if you surround yourself with people who are naysayers, who tell you can't accomplish, who say that it's your fault that horrible things happened in your relationship, then you're going to stay trapped in that mentality. And self-love is very hard to achieve when you're trapped in that type of capacity. And it's thinking outside the box, And for me, when I was in my abusive relationship for 4 years, I endured psychological manipulation, financial abuse, sexual violence, and a lot of physical violence. And leaving that relationship, my mom, backtrack for a second. My mom raised me to be this strong, independent woman. And when I escaped, I had to learn who I was again, but also learn why I allowed myself to get trapped in something that was so hurtful, so detrimental to my well-being. And that's when I started to learn, okay, I can love myself. I am worthy. I am beautiful. And what he said to me does not matter.
That's lovely. Absolutely. So spot on. And obviously someone like yourself who's gone through it, it's, it can be, and you get into that vicious circle of unfortunately, because you're stuck, but also because you might not be listening, reading, or have the opportunity to, to find people that can help you and take you out. But again, I hope those are the conversations that we can have, in really reaching more people, in ways of letting them know that there are people out there that are want to share love and give them love and help them get through
Hence
it.
why you have this panel, for sure.
Absolutely. And I want to congratulate you on your great work, Michelle. I know you've traveled all around Africa. I remember when we spoke the last time when COVID kicked off, you were in the middle of Ghana, was it? Where were you?
Yeah, so I also run a nonprofit organization to help survivors of domestic violence, sexual abuse, and human trafficking called Unsilenced Voices. And we work in Ghana, Sierra Leone, and we just expanded to Rwanda in 2020. So that's exciting. But Bernardo and I was supposed to be speaking live in Los Angeles in March. And I got stuck in Ghana and then got stuck in London for over 44 hours trying to come back during all the shutdowns in 2020.
She was texting me from Ghana. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I said, listen, don't worry about it. We don't know if we're going to make it. Just say so. And eventually she got there. So anyway, listen, I just wanted to congratulate you. One of the amazing work you're doing, Michelle. You're an inspiration.
Thank you so much, Bernardo.
Sarah, talk to us about self-love. You coach and work with, you coach coaches on how to help people with breakups and how to get out of difficult relationships. What's your thoughts regarding self-love and how can we help people that might struggle with that? It is said that we live in a world our questions create. And it's true. Those that have succeeded in life, those that stand out, those that have made a difference, those that are inventing, those that are exploring, pushing the boundaries of reality are based on those that have asked themselves empowering questions. In my new book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose, I help you find your true purpose, find your legacy. For more information, go to www.thequestion.co. If you're interested in working with me, contributing, speaking at any of our many events, partnering, or licensing The Best You, for more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.
Well, coming out of relationships, I see a lot of people coming out who are heartbroken, going through a separation or a divorce, or just a really painful breakup, which is devastating their whole world. And a lot of the times, the biggest impact is on self-love because they have very low self-esteem, self-worth, especially if their partner has left them. And I'm a survivor of abuse too, so I understand coming out of that toxic environment where your confidence is probably non-existent. And I see that a lot in majority of my clients. So the self-love is important, but as Michelle said, it's not something that you can just sort of go, right, I've got to love myself more. It's more of a journey of self-discovery. And that's what I work with my clients on, and I train my coaches to do with their clients, is to really start to figure out simple things like what makes you tick. What do you love doing? And I always tell them the story when I came out of my divorce. And I know, Bernardo, we've been friends for a long time. You were one of my friends that pulled me through that tough time. But one of the things I decided to do was to do something I used to do in my early 20s, which is a long time ago now. But I was thinking, right, I'm going to go rollerblading. That's what I want to do in Hyde Park. I'm going to be really cool. And I'm going to go around London on these rollerblades. And I got my rollerblades out and went to Hyde Park. What I hadn't figured out was I was a very different person, having had a child and my confidence being very low. And I was just terrified. So I was clinging to my instructor to the point where I got fired from my lessons because I wouldn't let go of it. And I thought, why am I just trying to do what I used to do? I need to go on a journey to really figure out who I am now. So 20 years on, who am I and what do I love? And I think going through that process taught me, you can't just go back to what you used to do. You've really got to start to think, who am I now? Because those experiences, whether they were good or horrific, have changed you in some way. So, and looking for a partner, which a lot of my clients will do when they come to you, and I'm sure we all see this in our clients, they have 2 criteria for a new partner after a devastating breakup. First one, they have a pulse. And the second one, they show them one tiny sign of affection and they go into limpet mode and sort of sucker themselves to this poor person thinking, I'm never going to be alone again. I found the person. But that doesn't work. I mean, it rarely works. So what we have to do is really just go to not look for someone else to fill those gaps in us, but look to sort of discover them and then fill them ourselves. And then once you get that, you get your confidence starting to come back, then you're going to attract a better match for you. So there's a lot of learning to do. And I agree with Michelle on that, and you, Bernardo. It's a journey. Doesn't mean you can't have fun along the way, for sure. And that's confidence boosting too. But it's about being sensible and just getting to know yourself again.
Okay, cool. No, I completely agree. And I think, look, I mean, I'm coming up with the idea of my approach, obviously, as a man trying to help a woman is trying to point out what they should expect from a man. I was talking, I think we in the Spanish panel yesterday, Mabel, we were talking about Lizzie was saying that she taught her son to, hey, be a gentleman, open the door. And the woman said, hey, the girlfriend, why you open the door? Do you think I can't do that? So, there's nothing wrong in being a man and being a gentleman. And I'm also saying that there's nothing wrong in asking your man to do duties that you can do, so I iron, I wash, I do all sorts of things. And my approach to this is raising your standards. I think, ladies, raise your standards. If you expect more, if you want more, you'll get more. And I get it that sometimes, you're in a relationship and it's difficult, but hopefully once you are out of it, you go and ultimately, because if not, I had this quote that it's actually Brené Brown. I was reading her book, but I already wrote this same thing. And I came up with this idea that I would rather be alone. And in many cases, I would rather be alone than be with someone that's negative. I would rather be alone than with someone that's not going to help me. I would rather be alone than someone that doesn't love me for who I am, and that would rather be alone is a good mantra. We're going to come back right 1 minute. I just want to play the best series, coaches, mentors and authors. That's going to be launched in this year, Q1. And we've got some great coaches, mentors, authors and speakers that are going to be featuring in this show. So we'll just play that quick commercial. We'll be right back. Less than 30 seconds.
People want to be the best, become the best, learn from the best. That's why in 2021, The Best You TV will bring you its new TV series that will feature the top and the best speakers, coaches, authors, and mentors. Coming soon to The Best You TV.
So, Mabel, let's jump straight into you. Self-love. What does self-love mean to you?
Well, I have to tell you that I wrote 2 books. I wrote several books about sex, love, and relationship, but I wrote 2 books about toxic relationships since around more or less 20 years ago. And that is called The Real Vampire. When a person not only doesn't love herself or himself, what a person has a shadow, internal shadow that want to feed, that want to always feed, always feeling empty, always feel like they need more. They create toxic relationship because nothing is enough. They feel not enough and they need people that remember that they are not enough. So self-love is a journey, like you said, to discover all the talents and power that you already have, that you already are. You need nothing for the outside world. You already are a whole world, a whole universe, and there's nothing outside of you that you really need. So it's very important that we teach that to kids in education, to teach that they are really the whole perfect universe itself. They don't need nothing outside. Nobody that need you approve you or need that you're okay or you are perfect. You are already perfect itself. You are really love. You are love. So you have not only to love yourself, respect yourself, adore yourself. Everything is because you are the universe. You are everything, and you have to emanate that energy all the time.
I love it, Mabel. I love it. And I love it. We were talking about that you are the universe. Listen, I mean, you create babies. I mean, seriously. I mean, come on. How much more of a miracle is that? And I've got to say, I always say this, and Sarah's probably heard this before. This is a very good looking panel, okay? Because I always look for good looking people, but this is amazing. I mean, look, we have an American, we have an English, we have an Argentinian, and a Latina Italian. I mean, seriously, this is absolutely amazing. But apart from that, a lot of knowledge and wisdom here, boys and girls, a lot of knowledge and wisdom. There's hundreds of years of knowledge. Not that they're old, but I'm just saying there's a lot of knowledge here. Renee, what is self-love? What does it mean to you?
Well, it's so interesting. I think that I learned self-love, luckily, from my mother and my father. They were very confident people. But in my work, the ladies out there really think that the men of the world have had this official Prince training. And that was the beginning of my career back in 1992, teaching men how to understand women. And what I discovered is their imprints at that time. There was no internet. There was only Playboy magazines and porno and all of that, where women had each other. So the self-love usually comes from the lineage of a family and culture. And I've been teaching this for so long that I got thousands of stories, and it all comes down to how their parents loved themselves, and it got passed from generation to generation. So in our time, we are so blessed to have the Best You Expo, people like this, to be able to expand our minds and hearts. But the women are fantasizing about this man, and the men are finally rising because they have I guess what it is, the ego thinks that they know everything based on what they learned when they were younger, but now their minds are being blown away and expanded by learning these self-love and awareness through their work, how to become more successful, because that's usually the drive of a man is, what do I have to bring to the table, right? So that self-love comes from a different place for men and for women. So I feel that the self-love comes from examination, from, I'd say make an appointment with your heart and make love one of your priorities, because everything that you're doing affects every area of your life. But most people don't look, they think love is sort of like, they put love like that's like a gift for later, but really it's your life. Everything, what your self-love is, how you treat yourself. Self-love is what work you choose that you love. So I feel like in my life, I was blessed to have that. And I think that people need to become aware that when you're marrying or connecting with people, finding out how they were wired about love shows how, if their parents didn't love themselves, it gets passed from generation to generation. So the self-love comes from you choosing to make a decision to make love a priority in your life and carving out time to examine your heart and what makes you happy.
Thank you. And I've got to say, ladies, you are on the time here. I mean, very, very impressive. I'm very impressed. Listen, so what I wanted to ask now is because you know what, when COVID happened and kicked off, I think all of us said, we understood, hey, the vaccine, blah, blah, blah. But I think everyone's starting to realize that 2021 is looking quite similar to 2020 as far as there's a lot of people to get vaccinated. There's a lot of people that, and then, kind of, I was reading, and like a lot of you have, well, you're probably going to have to still do social distancing, and you're probably still going to have to wear the mask. And so this is a reality. Okay. This is a reality. And for some of us that, the years start counting. Okay. Well, you don't want to be losing a lot of years where you can't go out and socialize and see and meet and greet people. But the truth is, or the reality is that it's obviously even more difficult. And I know a lot of the young guys or young people, they're doing their parties and, they just really carry on with life like normal. And not that I'm blaming my son to be one of them, but I'm just saying that hypothetically it could be the case. But the bottom line is that it's not easy to go and find love. It's not easy to go and find love. How does one find love? What should one do to find love now? That is, you've got to do it via Zoom and you've got to wear a mask. How do you do it? Sarah, I'll start with you.
Boris Johnson, our Prime Minister here in the UK, has made having sex with someone that doesn't live in your household illegal. And so I was having a conversation with Tim S. Marshall, he's the fear guy, right? Talks about fear. He could not get his head around the fact that it was illegal to have sex. Yeah, but it is. So many of my clients are like, I mean, it's very hard. It's very hard because the dating and the getting to know people and, you know, getting naked for the first time, all those things, you just can't do any of that at the moment.
And it's not the same on Zoom, is it? It's just not the same on Zoom.
I'll take your word for it, Bernardo. I'm not falling for that one. But yeah, I mean, I think at this stage, again, that self-love and using this time to build you up and getting on the dating apps. And, you know, we can go for socially distanced walks. And I don't know if you've noticed, but in the park near me, there's a lot of first dates happening. And it is really interesting because you get that, you know, when you walk into a restaurant, you can see people going, oh, are you the person I'm meeting? And you're seeing that in the park. So maybe it's just a healthier way of dating. We're outside and we're socially distant. But that intimacy, I think, and that's a struggle for a lot of people because, you know, you can't have that intimacy right now. It's actually illegal here. I don't know. I don't think it's illegal in the States. So maybe you guys are still cracking on. But over here,
it doesn't surprise me. Boris has come up with all sorts of things. The important thing now is not going to be a credit card when you go out for dinner, is a vaccine card. Do you have your vaccine card? Yes. Okay. Off you go. In you come. So it's just life has changed so much. Michelle, how does one find love?
Well, it's funny you were saying vaccine card because it used to be, you know, STDs, right? And now it's like, oh, are you COVID free? So it's very interesting. But yes, finding love is, it's very difficult during this time. And I coach with a lot of people who are just stuck, you know, people who are trapped at home. I live in Los Angeles. In LA, we have, you know, the worst surge of COVID. There's stay-at-home orders. I mean, it's ridiculous, and people are pulling their hair out. And it is like Sara was saying, you know, you've got to learn to love yourself. But getting on those dating apps and getting out of the relationships that are toxic right now. I mean, I'm going to piggyback off of that real fast and backtrack just for a minute, because there's a lot of people I talk to that are staying in toxic relationships because they don't know how to meet another person. They don't know during this time how to break free, how to honor themselves and get the love that they need without staying. And it's encouraging those people to still break free. You know, we've seen a huge uptick in domestic violence, child abuse, sexual abuse, human trafficking. So it's learning to break free from that, healing, you know, invest in yourself, go to therapy, do traditional and non-traditional therapies. So then you can be more open to meeting this brand new person you've never met before in a park, you know, somebody that you may have Zoomed with a couple of times, but actually getting yourself out there is what's important. And I know, you know, it's illegal to have sex in the UK, which is so crazy to me right now, with somebody that's not in your household. But you can still meet people. You can still, like Sara said, meet in a park or go on a picnic date, go on a hiking date, go skiing, do something, just get outside. And that will help you. It'll help the other person, but you guys can start off playing instead of just based on looks and attraction and sex.
Getting to know each other,
exactly the way it used to be, right?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, and if you can build a relationship through this, I mean, it should be a strong one. I think also, you know, if you're doing the picnic and each of you are bringing your own little blanket, you know, and you're separate parts of the park, then hey, listen, you're bringing your own food, you're bringing your own drink. Hey, there's no you pay, I pay. We don't have to go Dutch. It's taken care of. I love that. So, Renee, how do you find love?
I have been.
Do you have any experience about this, Renee? Do you have any?
Yes, I do. One of the biggest, greatest things, I created flirting coupons, and people are really afraid to flirt. Okay. And right now they can't smile. So smiling is the best way to flirt, and eye contact. So I have been teaching flirting classes every month. Actually, I have one coming up next week, and it's a co-ed thing for networking and flirting. So I teach people how to approach people even during COVID. And in the past 4 months, there have been at least, I would say 25 to 50% of the people that have taken my classes have practiced this. People that are shy, people that are business people, they were usually at work all day. So I said, okay, you have to go to Trader Joe's, you have to go to the grocery store. Everybody's there, right? And there's lines. I mean, we had lines, you know, here in LA where you had to wait like a half an hour, 45 minutes. So I said, use that time as you're walking through the line. You see somebody with a mask and you say, wow, cool mask. Or, so you're getting,
you can't see them smiling, Renee. I mean, that's the problem, can you? You can't see them smiling.
No, but it's eyes. It's all about the eyes. And it's energy too. So anyway, it's not about the whole thing about my flirting with life. I've been teaching this for 30 years.
I love
it's more about connecting wherever you are to whatever is happening. And you're the person. So for example, I was at Trader Joe's. Everyone was running there to get chicken. You were only allowed to get one, right? And everybody looked like they were going to kill each other. And so I was watching The Handmaid's Tale. And when they go shopping, they say, blessed be the fruit, right? So I'm in the line, we're waiting in line, and you're only allowed 2 pieces, containers of chicken. So I hold up the chicken and I go, blessed be the fruit. And everybody started laughing. And I made everybody laugh. And I said, it's time to lighten up around here and say hello to each other. We're not going to die or anything. So I said, just bless whatever. And so people were talking to me. And I ended up getting 3 clients from saying that one silly thing. So it's about bringing joy. It's about going out and making a difference to the people that are around you in your community. And I have met, so my big question to everyone when I see people in line, I met a really cute younger man the other day. He looked really lonely. I could tell he was lonely. And he had gorgeous eyes. And I just said, you have the most sparkly, beautiful eyes. I said, and he goes, and he breathed and he went, and he goes, you're the first person that's talked to me in a week, and I'm like, so it's about connecting. Yeah. So anybody out there, if you want to learn, I got a flirting class, and it's so fun because it's co-ed. Now then people were meeting on my flirting class and people are dating and they write me, they're like, I tried it, or using flirting in your dating apps and saying, I think you're attractive. Let's go for a walk. The other place is parking lot dates. This is something new that I came up with. My cousin is like, she wanted a date and she was doing the apps and she goes, I don't want these people. You don't know if they look like themselves. She goes, I said, well, meet them in a parking lot. So they meet in a parking lot, 6 feet apart. They check each other out. They get out of their cars and they do the bump or whatever. And they either like and it's like, let's get real. We either are going to be attracted to each other or we're not. And then they could take it to the next step and go for coffee or a walk or whatever. And she's gone out on at least 100 dates.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. But obviously,
so you got to take the lead. Take the lead.
I love it. I love all that. I love the flirting classes, Renee. And listen, you would get clients anyway. But I love the idea of the parking. The thing is, you see, if that happened in London, no sex. Okay, they could drive around the block, but they can't do anything else. So it's ridiculous.
Guess what? It's better not to jump in the sack anyway, because then all these expectations happen. Unless you both agree, like, hey, you want to do it, I want to do it, let's do it. But
well, maybe not for now. Things are quite bad in LA. Let's just keep it at home, okay? Let's keep
LA.
it.
This place is crazy.
Let's keep it in the past. So, Mabel, I wanted to ask you, and my next question is going to be around kindness, which is obviously related to love, which is related to saying nice things to people, and it costs absolutely nothing. And I think it can lead to flirting, but most importantly, it's just an act of love. So what do you think, Mabel, about that and the idea of people being more kind? I do the same. Sometimes I see people, and I say, listen, you are absolutely stunning. You're beautiful. And I have no intention in giving my number. I just simply say, you look absolutely amazing. You're the most beautiful cyclist I've seen in my life. And then I just go off and I leave them with that. But, you've made their day. But that's it. I think kindness is one of the things that people are missing, especially now. We're so stuck at home, and it's so tough to say something nice to someone just for the sake of saying it. And it changes people's lives.
Well, kindness for me is the best quality that we can have. I mean, be kind with the others, be smart with the other, be warm. As a Latin person, as you said, we are very warm, and I'm 64 years old, so I have the permission to say to a man, young or a lady, whatever is around me, you are beautiful. I don't care. I really don't care. Like Renee says, you are beautiful. Your eyes are beautiful. Things outside of the self, but I already read the energy as an astrologer, and I always try to find the real positive part of the person, the real talent of that person. So always remind the person how beautiful you are. For me, people, I like diamonds, and they are always bright and always have something to offer me, to inspire me. So the way that I inspire the others is with kindness. If we don't have kindness every single day with ourselves first and with everything, we are in a very complicated moment now. I was listening. You are amazing. Really, I love listening to you. And it's a very difficult time to date. It's a very difficult time for couples already. They are closing the house with the kids, with the blockout. So kindness for everything. Can you please give me that? I mean, everything with love, with kindness, change the world. I mean, it's so important right now that you said, Bernardo, for me is absolutely the key of the relationship.
Absolutely. Michelle, how can we show, how can we be kinder?
To find out about my latest projects, get a free coaching lesson or download my book, go to www.bernardo-moya.com.
We're all stuck at home, and Renee, you and I are both stuck in Los Angeles. And here in LA, people go out, they keep their mask on, they don't speak to one another. They think that if they speak kind words or say anything to one another, they're going to get COVID. Everybody's just scared here. And the thing is speaking up, giving affirmations, words of affirmation, encouragement, it really helps people's confidence, right? So there's a saying that we all grew up with: sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me, right? Well, unfortunately, that is so inaccurate. And words actually have longer lasting implications than that of even physical violence. Now, if you're walking down the street and you want to say something kind, then you should speak up. And I typically don't should on people, like don't should on yourself. I say that a lot. But you really should speak up. And it's so important, especially right now. There's 7 billion people on this planet, and we are so incredibly divided and distant. And in order for us to create sustainable change around injustice, around racial discrimination, around everybody, being scared, we have to connect with one another. And in that connection, we have to use positive words. So speak up, say something. It doesn't matter if you're 10 feet apart. Hey, I love that sweater. They're like, oh, sweet, human connection. I love this. And Bernardo, like you said, it really does increase their mood for the rest of the day. And give back. In order to be kind, you have to give back, and give back either with your time, your money. But when you do give back, then you have that confident feeling within yourself that you are a kind person. So when you actually give to someone or to an organization or help in some type of food bank or whatever that looks like, you can also meet people there, by the way. But it really does increase your confidence, and then your confidence then will translate into giving other people affirmations and positive words and attributes.
Absolutely. And you just don't know the ripple effect that will have. You just simply don't know. The ripple effects could be phenomenal and could be long lasting, life changing, and for years. Sarah.
Yeah, kindness is one of the most important values, I think, at any time, but especially now. And I think because of COVID, lots of people are more grateful for the smaller things in life. A lot of us, our lifestyles are being rejigged around, not only what we're doing, but financially. There's so much financial pressure right now that really we're finding ourselves more grateful just for the small things, and things like kindness or a smile, or, as Michelle said, a nice comment in the supermarket. I must say our spirits are a little bit tend to get quite alarmed if someone was shout across and say something nice from 10 feet, because we're a bit more reserved than you over there. But even, it makes a massive difference to people. But I think for us as well, it has to start with the kids as well, teaching children to be kind, and that's a really important value, because, it's always about gaming right now, because they can't see their friends. It's all on gaming. And one of the things that I work with people is just get your kids into asking questions about how people are and being more inquisitive about other people. And I think FaceTime and having to make more effort to communicate, to even see somebody right now, is teaching us all to ask questions and be more interested in other people. And reaching out to the old lady on the road that can't do her shopping, and popping around or just smiling through the window makes a big difference. So yeah, I think kindness is important, but getting everybody involved and sharing for free. I think in the UK, we've had some really inspiring people that have stepped up, and we've got Captain Tom, obviously, but we've also had like Joe Wicks, who's an exercise expert, who's giving free exercise lessons every morning at 9 o'clock, where the whole family are getting involved. So it's really about giving a little bit of yourself and just sharing. And I think that comes back and gives us so much. We think being kind is a nice thing to do, but actually, if you're feeling low yourself, it can be one of the things that picks you up and gives you more of a boost than you can ever expect. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Absolutely. And I think, kind of with this digital, communication we have, a lot of the times, yes, maybe we're Zooming more, FaceTiming more, but maybe not. I'm a voice messenger. I will bombard you with voice messages that, so a lot of the times I think, well, just pick up the fucking phone and just ring them. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I'm sending full voice message, and you're just better off and just say, hey, it's me. The good old fashioned call and seeing the face and saying, something nice. So I think there's a lot of things that we can do with this. But look, I'm obviously concerned, like I think a lot of people, with the effect of what is going on behind the scenes. And I've got to say that I do appreciate that COVID, is even more contagious, and and hospitals are struggling around the world, to kind of keep up with the momentum of it. I said, well, I was one that thought, well, you know what, we need to keep the economy going, but the bottom line is we can't. We can't do more than we're doing, because it's just going to get more people that are going to basically, not make it. But obviously there's going to be a lot of work, is what I'm trying to say. I think there's going to be a lot of work with the people that are at home, they're stuck at home, that might not have the skills, the mindset, to get through this. And I think that's why I'm thinking of, 2022 in February, we're going to be launching, a Best You Expo all around love without limits, where we can discuss any and everything related to love and show and manifest, kind of like the different ways of how people are giving love. You look at someone like, and the case studies of people like, Mother Teresa, how much love did that woman give? How many people did she help? And, talk about NGOs like yourself, Michelle, there's so many ways that love is being shared, is out there. But the principle is, I think, to say to everyone, hey, listen, I'm here for you. And these are words of encouragement. This is how you can find love. This is how you can become, stronger. So look, we're going to kind of, if I want to just literally leave it open, we got around 4 or 5 minutes, so I'll leave it open. Anything else you wanted to bring in, and just feel free to jump in these last 3-4 minutes we've got.
One thing about love, about everything. If we can see the people as souls, not as, as the person, the skin, the accent, where they're from, how money they have in the bank, how much money. I mean, you can see people as soul, as little babies and little kids. We all have the same feeling, the same fear, the same needs. Doesn't matter where we come from. So it's so important. I am doing this exercise around 5 years ago. I tried to see the people as soul, looking at their eyes and see that we are infinite souls, infinite love. We don't have any limits for love each other. Mm-hmm. So that is like I do for my own. Try to see the people as souls, as really light and brilliant souls.
Thank you so much, Mabel. And listen, we put your web pages at the bottom, but Mabel, how can people find you?
At Mabel I am on Instagram, or my telephone is 786-326-9210, and I always answer.
Renee, how can people find you?
Renee Piane, my website, reneepiane.com. Everything's Renee on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and they can get free consultations if their heart needs it. And my last words would be the love. Go every day and spread love to 3 people a day, and just think about how much of a difference your love, and then tell them. They go, wow, thank you. Say, pass it on. It's like that whole concept of giving what you want to receive, but not to get anything. Just love unconditionally. And it just as you're giving love, it attracts love to you.
I love that. I love that. Well, let's make sure that everyone does that. Anyone watching this live or the recording, just 3 people every day. We all do it. It's going to make a massive effect. Thank you, Renee. Michelle, how can people find you? And then your last words, and how can people find you?
Thank you, Bernardo, again, for allowing us to speak on this panel and allowing us to impact the audience. And it's so important for us to talk about love. And the last thing I would like to leave the audience with is love is patient and love is kind. And in order to attract that love, in order to give that love, you have to be patient and you have to be kind. You can find me at michellejewsbury.com. I have a free gift there. We help teach people to overcome obstacles and trauma. It's a 5-step process. And you can get that directly from michellejewsbury.com. And then unsilencedvoices.org is the nonprofit. And we need as much help as humanly possible. We need volunteers. We need grant writers. We need fundraisers, you name it. We are expanding right now, and we need as much help as humanly possible. So if you are interested in being a part of an amazing movement, please contact us at www.unsilencedvoices.org.
I would thank you, Michelle, and I love that. I loved your last words. I was going to say, Michelle, that I think I would love to talk to you about with some of the people that we have in the Latino market here in Miami, because we've got, and Mabel has phenomenal contacts. We've got some ridiculous influencers joining us here. I would love to have this conversation, for the Spanish-speaking market, because there's so many people in need of kind of what you provide. So I'd love to explore 100%. That. I'll plant that little seed there with you, leave it with you, make sure you all connect. Sarah, your last words, and how do people contact you?
Yeah, well, thanks, Bernardo, as always, for inviting me. It's always amazing, and some amazing panelists here. So thanks. It's lovely to meet you ladies as well. I think I've met Renee in LA once, actually, at the vestry there. But it's really nice to connect. And I'm definitely going to get you all on my podcast, Heartbreak to Happiness podcast, because I think you all would be able to share some of your knowledge. Bernardo's been on a great guest, one of our top ranking guests. So
thank you.
So I would just say that I know everyone's going through a tough time right now, but it's not what happens to you that defines you. It's what you do about it that makes you the person you are. So if you are struggling, whether that is love or finance or COVID, whatever is going on, there is a way through. And, listening to any of these experts that Bernardo puts together really can change your life. I know 20 years ago when I first discovered what people were doing in this field of personal development, it changed my life, and I haven't looked back. So thank you, Bernardo, for giving us that opportunity. And to find me, saradavison.com or Sara Davison on Instagram, Sara Davison Divorce Coach on Instagram, Facebook, and Heartbreak to Happiness podcast on iTunes. But thanks, Bernardo, as always, looking handsome, and lots of love to you for all the work you do, because you are helping so many thousands of people around the world, and making a huge difference. Just honoured to be on your panel and to be your friend. Love you.
Thank you so much. Listen, I want to thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, all of you. You're invited because you mean a lot to me, each and every one of you, because, I know you all. I know what you do. I know what you bring. And it really is an important subject. So, the names came quickly to my mind. And I think we need to have more and more conversations around love. And I think we need to really help and support each other. And I think, as I said, that's the objective for 2022. We're going to be announcing it soon. And ladies, you have no option. You're all going to be involved heavily. And we're going to be reaching hundreds of millions of people. And now with the advantage of television, we can reach more. So, no, I want to thank you all. I love what we've discussed here today. I think we've given some really good, valuable tips and ideas. I love, 3 people a day. And, be patient with love and be kind. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bernardo.
Thank you.
Love you. Thank you, Bernardo. You're the best.
Lots of love to you all.
Call me. I love to hear from you.
I will call you, Renee.
Stay in touch, Michelle and Mabel. Let's stay in touch.
Yes, definitely. 100%, ladies.
All right. God, and come in my flurry. this. It's so much fun.
Okay. Lots of love.
Bye, everybody.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.